Okay, so I am out today, but you do have this wonderful video to get you through your notes today. All right, so we do start a new notebook today. You should have grabbed one on the way in from that box. If you haven't done so, go ahead and stop what you're doing, pause the video, make sure you have your book. Put your name in front. We will not have time to make any more copies, and I have just enough um, copies for everybody. All right, so on to our workbook. Today we're covering 1.1 and 1.2, pages 11 and pages 14. Okay, so pages 11 and page 14. So these items right here, we are working on this. You don't need a highlight, and we're working on this. Okay, just highlight so you know what we're working on. All right, down here, this is your homework. AFQ 1.1, 1.2, pages 11 14, and the additional practice on pages 47 and 59. Okay. Go ahead and write those down in your notebook. Pause the video if you need to. Should be written up on the board. The AFQs are pretty easy. You should be able to answer these two before you leave. All right. These are the dates of your quiz and your test. So you have a quiz in about 10 days, and you have a test in about 10 days, 11 days after that. That test might move one day later, maybe not, or one day earlier, sorry. Your quiz might move one day later, but these are, again, tentative dates, okay? I'm still concerned that for some of you, these are surprises, even though you've written them down and I remind you, and you're like, what, a quiz? That kind of concerns me a little bit. So keep that in mind. Those are your dates. Write them down. They're important. All right, so let's go and start it on page 11, which is all about choosing cereal, tossing coins to find probability. All right, so today's date is 05/21, 2019, and this is page 11. All right, there are different examples of probability situations. We are talking about probability this entire unit to help you consider the likelihood of particular events. So how is it likely for something to happen? That is our what we call probability. These are examples of probability statements or concepts. Okay, these are examples of probability situations. Okay, and we're going to talk about one very specific situation. This is Calvin, okay, with a K, not Calvin with a C from the comics. Calvin has his favorite breakfast for cereal, and he likes Cocoa Blast. This is his favorite cereal right here, Cocoa Blast. Okay, but his mom wants him to eat something a little healthier. So his mother wants him to eat the health nut flakes. Sometimes, some mornings. I'm sure she'd like, as his mother, for him to eat something a little healthier every morning, but some is better than none. So they come to an agreement. Calvin and his mother agree to leave the cereal problem to chance. Chance is a probability. Each morning, Calvin in June, that's the month of June, Calvin tosses a coin. If the coin is heads, you'll have Cocoa Blast. So heads equals Cocoa Blast. Okay. And tails, he's gonna get Health Nut Flakes. You don't have to write this down. It will be pointed out a little bit later, but it says make a prediction of how many days you expect Calvin to eat Cocoa Blast in June. So there are 30 days in June, but right here there is a typo. We go from 20, 21, 23. They're missing a day here. So I'm going to cross these out and fix them. So 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30 days in June. All right, so they're going to flip a coin. Heads, Cocoa Blast. Tails, it's going to be Health Nut Flakes. So we're going to toss coins. You should get coins from the sub. So we can start tossing coins. Please don't steal my coins. I use them for all my classes, and I don't have very many. And summer's coming up. Teachers need to save a little bit extra. All right, so this is going to be your results of heads or tails here. The number of heads so far, the fraction of heads so far, and the percent of heads so far. So I'm just going to do one section at a time. I'm just going to do this first column, and then we'll do the next three columns together. Okay, and I don't have a coin to easily show you guys. So instead, I'm going to use a virtual coin flipper, and then I'll collect all my data, and I'll show you what I get. Okay, so what is this? Coin flip. We're going to do a virtual coin flip. And we end up with heads, 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 tails. And I'm going to stop there. I'm going to let you guys keep going on your own. Go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to pause the video, finish collecting your data about 3 to 5. Okay, so at this point, I've gotten all my heads and my tails made. They're all flipped. And now I'm going to calculate the number of heads I have so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight every time I get a heads in any of my flips, and then I'm going to add to my number on the right. So far here I have 1 heads. Let me change the color on that one. I have 1 head so far. 2 heads, so that's going to change. 3 heads there. And then that stays at 3 until I get another heads. So here, once I get another heads flip, that becomes 4. Get another heads flip there. So that stays 4 until I get another heads flip. 5 stays a 5, stays a 5, stays a 5, stays a 5, and then here I get my 6th one. I'm going to repeat that process all the way down. I'm just going to count my number of heads. I'll just highlight them all. There we go. Okay, so this is 6 again until this one here. 7, 7, 7, 7. Got another heads. 8, 8. Another one. 9, 10. Stays at 10 until I get this one. 11 heads. 11, 11, 12, 12. And then this one is my 13th one. And then this is my 14th. And then that's all I get, 14 out of 30 heads. Okay, now this fraction part is going to be a combination of 2 numbers. It's going to be a combination of this number and this number. Those 2 numbers will make up my fraction. So this one is 1 out of 1. The next one is 2 out of 2. Now it's kind of hard to tell right now in the very beginning because they're all heads. 3 out of 3. 3 out of 3. And then now 3 out of 4. Number of heads I have so far is 3 out of 4. This is 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. 4 out of 6. 5 out of 7. My denominator is increasing by 1, and my heads don't change until I get another heads. Okay, this one says 5 out of 8 flips, 5 out of 9 flips, 5 out of 10 flips, 5 out of 11 flips, 6 finally increased out of 12. You're going to finish all the way down. Okay, your numbers will be different than mine. I'm going to unpause it when I'm done. Okay, once you have all your fractions done, you're just going to type those into your calculator and get your percentages. In the beginning, it's either going to be 100% or 0%, one or the other. This one is 1 out of 1, so that's 100%. And I'm going to go through all the ones that I know until I start buzzing out my calculator. So like 3 out of 4, I know that one's 75%. 4 out of 5, I know that one is 80%. 66.6 repeating percent for 4/6. I don't know 5/7 off the top of my head. 5/8 is 68.5%. This one is 55%. This one is 50%. Don't memorize that one. We have 50% again. I don't memorize any of the other ones. I know 7 out of 10 is 50%, etc. So you would just get all your percentages. If you don't know them, type them into your calculator as a fraction. Numerator divided by denominator, multiplied by 100. Okay, I'll finish off as many as I can. Okay, so I miscounted. So I actually got a nice even 50%, 15 out of 30. So I have all my percentages along the side, and we're gonna, yours will look different, mine will look different, everybody's will look different when you're flipping these coins. But what I want to point out is that in the very beginning, you will either have 100% or 0. Those are your only two options. Now, as you progress through, it may look like this, it may not. I'm going to highlight all of these numbers. And what you notice is I'm highlighting 50% and it shows up several times. And what you notice is towards the end, it shows up a lot more. Okay, so every time, not every time, but along the path, I get 50% and it shows up a few times. Now, I'm going to highlight all these other numbers. All these numbers are in blue and they have something in common. Okay, all the numbers in blue have something in common, and if you are perceptive, you will notice that they are all above 50. Everything highlighted in red are all my numbers below 50. Okay, now my numbers worked out pretty well. It was almost like a 50 split. Okay, now what you'll notice is down here, the 50% shows up multiple times. 50%, 50%, 50%, 50%, 50%. Kind of what you expect out of a coin flip. It's a fair toss and each person gets a half of a chance. Okay, so as more data appears, more data, that's further down here. This is more data. More data. What happens to the percent is the percent gets closer and closer to 50%. The percentage approaches 50%. Okay, the closer it gets, the more numbers you get, the more data you get, the closer it'll get to 50%, which is kind of what you expect. Okay, now it's going to ask you to work with your classmates, and it's going to be a little difficult to get everybody in your class. So what I want you to do is get data from, let's say, 5 other team members. You're going to put your data, so your data will be out of 30 flips, plus someone else's data will be out of 30 flips, plus someone else's data will be out of 30 flips, plus someone else's data will be out of 30 flips, and we'll add one more. Get 5 people's data, including yourself, out of 30 flips. In the end, if you add them all up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, out of 150 flips, I want you to add the number of heads that you have collected. One of them will be yours, and then 4 of them will be other people from nearby. You don't have to get up, just nearby at your table, and I want you to find the percentage. What you'll notice is it's probably not going to be 50%. It's probably going to be very, very close to 50%. Okay, it's going to get closer and closer. What you'll notice is as I started to collect more data, this is only 2% away, only 2% away, and as it gets further down, it's less than 2% away. It gets closer and closer the more and more data you get. Okay, so check to make sure that what we came up with is very similar, and you can answer questions 2 and 3 on your own. Okay, go ahead and take a break. Answer these questions here, and then take a break.